What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. Today we got another betting preview for week 13. So, obviously, we have some Thanksgiving games. So, all this video is going to be, and all this episode is going to be, is the Thursday games, the Thanksgiving games, and also the Black Friday game. So, only a 4 game slate for this video. Of course, I will be posting the rest of the week 13 bets on this page later in the week, either Friday night, Saturday night, early Sunday morning. It's going to be up, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, like always, I'm going to give you one bet for each game. If you want to bet every game, I give you my favorite bets for each game. If you just want to bet 1 or 2 games, I give you my best bets. We have some parlays, some player parlays. You guys know how it is. Let's hop into it. So let's go ahead and start with the first game on the slate for Thanksgiving is Bears versus Lions. I'm going to go Lions minus 9.5 at minus 120. So as you see on the screen, this is one of my best bets. So this is one of my favorite bets of the day. So if you just want to tail my favorite bets, go ahead and tail this one. I like the Lions minus 9.5. The Lions are 9-2 against the spread this season on the whole season, and at home they are 4-1 against the spread. Their average margin of victory, this is crazy. Their average margin of victory this year is 19.2. Of course, it's kind of inflated because they've blown out teams like they blew out some teams by like 30, 40 points, so it's going to be inflated, but even still, 19.2 and all we need is 10 points to cover. And not only that, they are covering their spread by 11.2 points per game. They're just basically blowing teams out. That's the main reason I like this is because Dan Campbell does not care if they are up by 15 in the fourth quarter. He will not let his foot off the gas. He will continue to score points. And then one last thing here. The Bears are on a short week after playing an overtime game last week. They played an overtime game against the Vikings. Now it's on a short week. So it's not a good spot for the Bears here. So best bet, Lions minus 9.5. For the player props for this game, I like Caleb Williams over 264.5 pass and rushing yards combined at minus 115. He has gone over this in 2 straight games, and ever since the offensive coordinator got fired and got changed to the new one, Caleb's looked pretty good, man. He looked pretty good in that Vikings game. He had over 300 yards passing. He had like 60 yards rushing, so I like his chances to go over. And another thing is Detroit's run defense is pretty good, but their secondary is kind of weak. So he should be able to pass on the Lions, and the Lions rank 26 in passing yards allowed and 21st in QB rushing yards allowed. So it's a good matchup for Caleb. And we know the Lions are going to score points, so he's probably going to have to chase and have the ball in his hands a lot. For the Lions, I'm going to go back to Jahmyr Gibbs. We hit on him last week. We had over his rushing plus receiving yards last week, and it cashed. This week, I'm only going to take his rushing yards, so Jahmyr Gibbs over 72.5 rushing yards at minus 120. He's gone over this in 60% of his home games this season, and the Bears rank 25th in running back rushing yards allowed. The Bears have a pretty good defense, a good pass defense, but not a great run defense, and it's at home. Gibbs knows how to run on that turf at home against a good matchup. I like his chances of going over. Next game, Giants versus Cowboys. Definitely the worst game on the slate. So if you don't want to bet this, I totally get it. This is not a best bet at all. Giants plus 4.5 at minus 130. I know a lot of people are going to bet the Cowboys because the Giants have no quarterback. DeVito, Drew Lock, it doesn't matter. They're trash. But you have to remember the Cowboys have Cooper Rush, who Cooper Rush is better than the Giants quarterbacks, but it's still not the same. But this is the main reason why I like the Giants here. The Cowboys are only 2-11 against the spread in Thanksgiving games since 2011. They've only covered the spread twice since 2011. So they just don't really cover the spread in these Thanksgiving games. And it's an in-division game, which usually means a close game. And like I said, neither of these offenses are good. I could see a really low scoring game, like a 13-10 game, something like that. So I'm going to take the Giants with the points here. It's a little ugly, I understand. If you don't want to bet it, don't bet it. For the player props for the Giants, I'm going to go Tyrone Tracy over 63.5 rushing yards at minus 110. The only tricky thing about this one is that Tyrone Tracy fumbled last week and kind of got benched. So the only thing I'm worried about is if he doesn't get a lot of playing time because maybe Dable benches him. But if I had to take my chances, I think Dable still plays him because the Giants season is over. They want to get Tyrone Tracy's confidence up for next season. And if Tracy gets the work, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to perform. If he gets 15 or more carries, he's going to get over 60 yards because the Cowboys rank 23rd in running back rushing yards allowed. They're not that good of a run defense, and he's gone over this in 3 of his last 5 games. So all we need him to do is get like 15 carries, and he's going to go over this. For the Cowboys, the only player I'm ever going to bet on this current Cowboys team is CeeDee Lamb. So we're going to go CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions at minus 120. He's gone over this in 54% of his games this season, and he's gone over in 2 straight games. And Cooper Rush literally drops back, looks for CeeDee Lamb, locks onto him, and peppers him with targets. Literally, if you watch the games, he wants to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb, so I think he's going to continue to do that in this game. Next game, Dolphins versus Packers. I'm actually really excited to watch this game. The Packers are one of my favorite teams in the NFL. I think, even though they haven't looked the best, I think they are a Super Bowl contender if they can just get everything together. Jordan Love gets a little bit more healthy. We saw their run game is really good last week against the 49ers. So I genuinely think they can be a Super Bowl contender. But I'm going to take Packers -3 at minus 135. This is my other bet of the day. So if you want my favorite bets, it's the Lions bet and this bet. So best bet of the day, Packers -3 at minus 135. It's going to be freezing in Green Bay. I think last time I checked, it's going to be under 30 degrees, so it might snow. The Miami is not built for that, bro. They're not built to play in that weather. We saw last year in the playoffs when Miami went to freezing Kansas City, they couldn't score. Tua couldn't do anything. Tyreek Hill couldn't do anything. The running game couldn't do anything. They're just not built for it. They're not built for that. And honestly, I think the Dolphins are a little overrated. I get that Tua has looked better after coming off an injury. They've won a couple in a row. But the whole year, this whole season, the Dolphins have not beat a team over 500. I think they're a little overrated. I think the Packers smacked this team by at least a touchdown. For the player props, I'm going to go Jonnu Smith over 47.5 receiving yards at minus 115. He's gone over this in 2 straight games, and he's been a focal point of the offense for the Dolphins. He's led the Dolphins in targets for the last couple of weeks. They're really trying to get him the ball, and it's a good matchup. The Packers rank 21st in tight end receiving yards allowed. So I think he continues. I think they continue to use him in this game. For the Packers, I'm going to ride the hot hand. I'm going to take Josh Jacobs over 74.5 rushing yards at minus 120. He's gone over this in 63% of games this season, and he's gone over it in 5 straight games. You guys saw what he looked like in that 49ers game last week. He destroyed that team. He's hot right now. They're at home, short week, Thanksgiving. I think they continue to feed him the ball, especially in cold weather. That always benefits the run game because teams do not want to tackle running backs in that cold weather. And I think Miami struggles to tackle Jacobs, and he has a 100-yard day in this game. All right, last game, Raiders versus Chiefs, another in-division game. I'm going to take the Raiders plus 14.5 at minus 135. I would have made this a best bet if Gardner Minshew was quarterback, but it's Aiden O'Connell. I still think he covers the spread, but I'm not going to make it a best bet with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. The Chiefs are only 45 against the spread this season. 45%, sorry. Chiefs are only 45% against the spread this season. They're winning games, but they don't care about covering the spread. They want to conserve their energy, win by a field goal, win by a touchdown, stay healthy, and then once the playoffs come, they're ready to go. And the Chiefs' margin of victory is only 4.7. They're only winning games on average by less than 5 points. So 14.5, the Raiders can lose by 2 touchdowns here. 2 touchdowns, and we still cover this spread. I like this bet a lot. For the player props, we're actually going to go with both tight ends in this game. We're going to go Brock Bowers over 59.5 receiving yards at minus 115. The Chiefs allow the most receiving yards in the NFL this year at over 70 yards per game. Even with Aiden O'Connell, I think he can get at least 60 yards in this game, 100%. And then for Kelsey, we're going to go over 53.5 receiving yards at minus 115. He's gone over this in 54% of games this season. And also, this is also a good matchup for the Chiefs as well. The Raiders aren't as bad as the Chiefs, but they still ranked 27th in the league in tight end receiving yards allowed. And the Chiefs usually always show up. Mahomes usually always has a good game against the Raiders. He kind of takes this matchup personal. So I think Mahomes throws a decent amount and Kelsey benefits from that. So those are all of the games. Like I said, if you don't want to bet every single game, my best bets is the Packers -3 and the Lions -9.5. So let's go ahead and hop into some parlays now. First one, we're going to do a spread parlay. So if we put all three of my favorite spreads, we're going to take the Raiders +14.5, the Packers -3, and the Lions -9.5. So those are my three favorite spreads. I don't want to touch that Cowboys game at all, but I'm fine putting the other three in a parlay. If you parlay all three of those together, the Raiders, Packers, and Lions spread +456 odds. So every $10 you put down, you get $45 back in profit. So that's the spread parlay. Let's head over to a money line parlay. If you don't want to deal with the spreads and you just want to money line it, we got a 3-team money line parlay at +105 odds. So basically, if you put down $10, you're basically getting $10 back and a little bit of change, like $10.50. So you're getting double your money here. The Lions to win straight up, the Packers to win straight up, and the Chiefs to win straight up. It doesn't matter how much they win by. All three of those together, you're going to double your money. And then the last one, we're always going to do a teaser parlay. We always do teaser parlays. For the people that have been watching my content for a while or listening to my content for a while, you guys know what teaser parlays are, but I'll explain it for the people that don't know. So what a teaser parlay is, you get all the spreads you like, you put them in a parlay, and you can tease the points 6 points in your favor. So just for example, when we do this Raiders spread, instead of 14, we're going to bring it down. We're going to bring it up to 19 or 20. You get 6 points in your favor. So you're more likely to hit the bet. The only downside is that it's not as good as odds. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So this three-team parlay is only +150 odds. Like earlier when we did the spread parlay, it was +450. So the odds drop significantly, but you're way more likely to hit the bets because obviously you have points in your favor. You have so much wiggle room. So that's a teaser parlay. So we're going to do a 3-team teaser parlay +150 odds. So every $10 you put down, you get $15 back in profit. We're going to bring the Lions down to -4. So all we need is the Lions to win by 5 points. We're going to bring the Giants up to 9.5. So I am fine putting this Giants in the teaser parlay because now the Giants can lose by 9 and we still hit. And then we're going to bring the Raiders up to 19.5. So the Raiders can lose by 19 points and we still win. 3-team teaser parlay +150 odds. The only thing we have left is the player parlays. We're going to head over to Underdog Fantasy. I use Underdog Fantasy for all of my player parlays, NBA and NFL. If you are a first-time user, go ahead and download the app and use my code CE2244, letter C, letter E, 2244 for a deposit match up to $1,000. So I'm going to give you guys my 3 favorite player parlays. If you don't want to parlay them at all, you can go ahead and just do single bets here. But these are my 3 favorite player parlays of the day. If you want to parlay them, like always, go to Underdog Fantasy. So 3-player parlay, 6 times multiplier. So basically, every $10 you put down, you get $60 back in profit. We're going to go Jahmyr Gibbs over 75.5 rushing yards. We're going to go Caleb Williams over 262.5 pass and rushing yards combined. And then Josh Jacobs over 72.5 rushing yards. I'll say it one more time. Gibbs over the rushing yards. Caleb over the rushing and passing yards combined. And then Josh Jacobs over rushing yards. All 3 of those together, 6 times your money. So pretty easy video, pretty quick video. Like always, if you have any betting questions, either comment on the podcast, comment on YouTube, or DM me on social media. And like I said, guys, I will be posting the rest of the Week 13 slate on my page in the next couple of days. And like always, follow me on TikTok because I don't always have time to post on YouTube or post on my podcast because sometimes I run out of time because I still work full time. But I'm always posting on TikTok. But thank you guys for supporting me. Let's make some money. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.